Hi and welcome to Outwell and to the Country Road and Country Road tall from our touring collection. So this is the standard height version, which is to fit vehicles between 1.8 and 2.2 metres in height, and the tall will fit vehicles from 2.4 up to 2.9. So the features on both are actually identical. The only difference is the amount of material at the back, which allows the tall version to reach up to the higher vehicles. So what I'll do is talk you through the features on here. As I say, they are the same. So with the fly sheet that we use on here is our Outex 4000 material. So this is a good quality taffeta polyester material which has fully taped seams. It has been PU coated on the inside and it has a hydrostatic head of 4000 millimeters to ensure that it is totally waterproof. What we have then in terms of our frame is down the sides we have these steel poles here, and then the roof poles are actually our Duratec fiberglass poles. So very similar to the pole that you can see here, but of course they're in underneath these sleeves. So the nice thing about Duratec fiberglass is that it's really strong and it does create a much stronger pole than your standard black fiberglass, and that's because this has a protective sheath on the outside of it, which just makes it that little bit more resilient. So setting this up is really easy as well because all of these poles, all of the steel poles are all identical, as are all of the roof poles as well. So you can't really go wrong when pitching this. So in terms of features as well, what we have on the frame is our wind stabilizer system, and I'll just show you now how that works. So what we do when we're setting this up is we wrap around these Velcro tabs, wrap them around the poles. You'll find there's one at the top and at the bottom of all the steel poles around the side, and this is where we have our guy lines attached. When we bring the guy lines out and peg them into position, it pulls the whole material against the frame of the awning, making it much more stable. So not only is it waterproof, it's also very, very stable. So if you do go out for the day away in the vehicle, you're sure that this is going to be standing when you get back, even in bad weather. Some other features on here then, we have large tinted windows all the way around the front half of the awning, and that's going to allow enough light in there to make it feel nice and spacious. But with them being tinted, what you will find is that these will reflect some of the glare from the sun from the inside, and also they'll give you much better privacy as well. We also then have our aero-effective ventilation on here, so you can see on this side, but it is the same on the other side. We have a nice sleek and aerodynamic vent. Just underneath here, we then have a mesh panel, which corresponds of course to this here, to allow cool fresh air into the awning and keep you nice and comfortable on those warmer days. This can be removed easily just by removing the Velcro tabs and pressing down. The awning itself has a link access zone towards the back here, so actually the awning is this part and then this is the access point, and there are two side doors at the back here to allow access into that area without having to go in through the awning. We use our luminous guy lines throughout this awning here, so these should be a little bit easier for you to spot when it's a bit darker, and they all have their own retainers as well, which is what these loops here are for. So when it comes to packing the awning away, we can wrap up the guy lines in our hands and just pop them in here, so that the next time you come to set the awning up, these are going to be easily accessible. So around the front here, we have a good sized canopy covering the front door. And again, this is using a Duratec fiberglass pole. So that will give you good protection when entering the awning itself. Great features on here as well is that we have this really large open door here, which has a 4-way zipper. So you can actually open this on either side. It depends on, of course, how you want it set up, but this whole door can be rolled back this way or across to the other side, or as we have here in the middle, or of course it can be fully closed as well. The door itself has huge windows on there too, so even when the door is fully closed over, you still get great views out of the awning. These windows do have curtains on the inside, which we'll show you shortly if you do want that little bit more privacy. Up here we also have a vent above the door, so again that's going to allow cool fresh air into the awning, so you can just see these mesh panels across the top. Because this door is a vertical door, what you will find is that there's plenty of usable space within here. As soon as you step in here, you've got a great amount of space because of this vertical door here. There's certainly plenty of head height within here as well. I'm quite tall, around 1.95 meters, and you can see there's still plenty of space above me here. Also what we have is we have steel bracer bars in here as well. So these will actually make this a full freestanding structure when you take the vehicle away from the back. As I say, making sure that it's going to be really sturdy and stable. So there are 3 of these to make that freestanding. So as I mentioned before, we do have these large windows here, and I said that the front has curtains, but the side windows do as well. And the side windows, actually, the curtains we have rolled away at the moment, but these can either be brought halfway up for a little bit more privacy, or they can be fully closed. Also, I'll just highlight here that we have another mesh ventilation panel, as I said, on the outside. So you've got these two ventilation panels on the sides, plus that one at the front, so great ventilation within here. In terms of the ground sheet, you will find that this whole area is a sealed ground sheet, and it's bathtub in style, so it comes up around the edges, making sure that you're not going to have any drafts coming in. It's going to keep out things like dirt, dust and sand, and hopefully keep out those unwanted bugs as well. Now what you will notice is we have lots of toggle points around the inside of this, and that is because as an optional extra you can actually get a bedroom which would take up half of the awning. So if you're looking for some extra sleeping space, then we do have that as an optional extra. So across the back of the awning in is where we have the dividing wall that separates the awning part from the link access zone. So you can see here there are two doors, so you can have these both fully open if you want, or of course just one zipped over. These just toggle into the middle here, so easy to access. The link access zone itself is a fully covered area across the back here, so the fly sheet continues over onto the vehicle, so of course this is going to be nice and waterproof. And then this area also has a ground sheet within here that just tucks underneath, and you can see that it comes up the side of the vehicle here just to reduce the amount of drafts. And as I mentioned before, this area also has two side doors for easy access without having to come in through the awning. So a great feature on here actually is the various different ways that we can attach it to the vehicles, and we'll now just talk you through some of those options. The first and most simplistic way of attaching the awning to the vehicle is actually just by attaching it using the guy line. So all we need to do here is just take the material on top of the van and then take your guy lines across the other side and peg them into position. Next, we can connect with the Velcro bands that are already pre-attached onto the back of the awning, and these would just simply wrap around any vehicle that has things like roof bars attached to them, and then of course we can then take the guy lines out the back and peg them into place as well. Next, you can connect this awning using suction cup clamps, which would be sold separately, but we actually do supply the awning with a steel pole that can go through the sleeve at the back, which you can then attach the clamps to and then attach them onto the vehicle. Next, we can then directly attach the awning onto a rail on the side of the van like this here, and that's going to be ideal if you want to leave the vehicle with the awning during your stay. Finally, we then have the optional extras from ourselves, which would be the magnetic band connector, which would just attach onto any vehicle with a magnetic roof. So that easily attaches on there and then just is guyed into position across the back. And we then also have our Outwell Touring Connect set, which is a figure-of-8 kit that can attach the awning directly into a rail, which enables the awning to be a drive-away. So we have various different optional extras available for the Country Road and for the Country Road Tall, of course. We have the fleece carpet that would fit into this area, making it a little bit more comfortable. We then have a footprint available to go underneath this ground sheet, which will help protect it and keep it clean and dry on those wet, muddy days. We also have the bedroom that I mentioned that can be put in here as well. And of course, we then have our connecting kits for the area at the back. So there you have it then. That's all the features of the Country Road and the Country Road Tall from our touring collection. Thank you very much for watching.